Sheri, the first thing we're going to look at is your full swing with an iron, and I'm comparing your swing to Grant Waite, who is known by many PGA Tour players have one of the best swings in golf, and is also known as one of the top tour player instructors. When I analyze swings, I try to start at the impact position because that's the most important. Everything the ball does, how far it goes, how high it goes, the amount of curve it has, all of that is a response to the laws of physics and motion that exist at the moment of impact, which is about 4 or 5 milliseconds. And so you must have the club must be in a good impact position in order for the ball to perform properly. Your body's position at impact determines the club's position at impact. And everything you do prior to impact has the sole purpose of arriving at a fundamentally sound impact position. Now, as I look at Grant, you can see how he has most of his weight on his left foot at impact. In fact, the average pro has 85% of their weight on the left side at impact. That red line off of his left leg, and I've drawn that box off of the center of his ankles. The line that's off of his left foot is passing right through his belt buckle. So he's basically put his center right on top of that foot. Now, you definitely have more weight on your left foot than the right foot, which is very good. A lot of recreational golfers, when they're starting out, have more weight on their back foot than they do their front foot. So you're already making a very good athletic move to the left side in your downswing. In order to hit the ball with a little bit more power and to hit the ball closer to the sweet spot, we're going to want to enhance that move and be even further to the left side at impact. Here we are in the one position at the start of the swing, and you can see how Grant has a little bit more weight on his left side than his right side at address, but so do you. You have a very good setup position with you have just a little bit more weight on your left side than you do your right. So that's very good. I think the work we did on the chipping helped you get this feeling. When you were chipping the ball, you were more evenly balanced, but then as we practiced on the chip shot, getting a little bit more weight on the left side, that has carried over to the full swing. And so you already are starting to get comfortable with your weight on your left side. So that's very good. I also like how you have your hands in front of the golf ball. That's very important. Just put your hands here in front of that golf ball, just like Grant has. By putting your hands in front of the ball, and also by having your weight on your left side, that puts the low point of your swing in front of the golf ball, which is the critical fundamental that you need to achieve, because you cannot hit that ball solid unless you hit the ball before you hit the ground. And so if the low point is in front of the ball, then you won't hit the ground before you hit the ball. So you want all of the energy of your swing to be striking the golf ball and not be dampened by hitting the ground before you hit the golf ball. And that requires putting that low point in front of the golf ball. So that's very good. One thing I would like to adjust in your setup is the position of your feet. You can see how Grant has his toes flared out a little bit. That will facilitate a much better, fundamentally sound movement through the golf swing. And so I would like you to turn your toes out a little bit, maybe 30 degrees, just a little bit, similar to what you're seeing Grant have. Here we are in the 3 position. This is when the left arm is parallel to the ground. First, I've drawn a red line off your left foot, and you can see how you are keeping the good portion of your weight on the left side. As you take it back, you're not really swaying to the right or rocking to the right, so that's very good. You can see how Grant has maintained his weight on the left side. In fact, you can almost see him squeezing down into his left leg, and you can see that left knee flexing down a little bit more. You're basically turning your upper body, but you're really not turning your lower body very much. And as we continue to work on your fundamentals, we will develop that. Grant has turned his belt buckle where it's kind of turning this way and is now facing so he's not just turning his shoulders, he's also turning those hips a little bit. You are still facing pretty much the ball and you're only turning your shoulders, but that will minimize how much you can turn if you don't have a complete body turn. If we look at Grant's shoulder turn, he's almost turning this much when he gets into the 3 position, and you're still more this much. So you don't have to have a lot of strength in your hands and arms to hit the ball further, because you're going to try to get some of the power from the larger shoulder muscles and back muscles. And so one of the things that we'll be learning, particularly in our next session, is how to go from the 1 position to the 3 position and get into a more fundamentally sound and stronger position. Looking at your wrist hinge, and as your left arm is nice and straight like Grant's, like that, but you're going to want to learn how to hinge your wrist more so that your shaft of the club is further up. You can see how Grant has his angle and his wrist is a little stronger than yours, and that's going to give him more power. And so as you swing from the 1 position to the 3 position, as your arms and shoulders and everything swing back, you also want to be hinging your wrist and cocking those wrists so that you have more power in your hands when it's time to hit the ball. Then you have this is what we call loading the hands. You want to load those hands so that you can unload them at impact. This is the 4 position. This is the top of the backswing. And Grant has taken his club further back, but most of that has come from just simply having a stronger shoulder turn. It's his shoulders that have turned more to allow his club to go back that much further than yours. Your shoulders only turned this much, and therefore the club only went back that much. So it would be a mistake on your part to try to get your club back as far as Grant has his club simply by moving your arms further back. Your arms have traveled the same distance in relationship to your shoulders as Grant's have, but he's turned his shoulders more. So the amount of arm swing that you have is appropriate. We just need to incorporate more shoulder turn in order to get more power from the club's position going further back. The best way to achieve a better 4 position is to achieve a better 3 position. So most of our work going forward will be developing a proper 3 position. This is the 8th position. This is post-impact. The ball has already left the club, so this position and the things that you're doing at this point have no effect on the golf ball, but they do provide some clues as to what may have occurred before hitting the golf ball. And as we look at Grant, he has hit through the ball with straight arms and extended arms. And you have your elbows separating. Your right arm is a little bit bent and your left arm is a little bit bent. And your elbows are separating, which costs you a lot of power. Grant has his elbows in front of his body. His elbows are almost pinching towards each other, and this allows him to have a nice extension. This picture shows a couple things. One, I've drawn a red arrow off of your right pocket, and you can see how Grant has turned his hips, he's turned his pocket, and lying straight down from his right pocket is hitting the heel of his left foot. So he's moving his belt buckle and the front of his body on top of his left foot, not only by shifting his weight to the left, but turning his hips to the left. And you're still basically flat-footed. You can see how your feet are still flat on the ground, both feet. Grant has his back foot banking. The outside edge of his shoe is off the ground as he leans into that left leg. And so he is swinging through the ball, not just with his upper body, but both the upper and lower body. And your swing at the golf ball is mostly just hands and arms and not a lot of coordination with the core of your swing. So as we improve it and sophisticate your fundamentals, you're going to develop a swing that looks a little bit more like Grant so that you can hit a dynamic shot without having to, by relying on all of your core body and your larger muscle groups, not just the smaller groups in your hands and arms. So in closing, the thing that we're going to focus on first is getting into a good 3 position. All of the other fundamentally sound positions have to be built off of a good 3 position. All of our work on your golf swing, this would apply to the driver and the iron. Your full swing, I need to have a better 3 position, because then the rest of the pieces will fall into place.